Hello, explorers. Welcome back to the Accidental Explorer.
Okay, so today we're going like way deep on something you guys have been asking about.
Mhm.
It's kind of a sensitive area, but a really important one.
Yeah.
And it has to do with how migration is affecting Nagaland.
Right.
Specifically its cultural identity.
Absolutely.
You sent in some really interesting stuff that got us thinking about
Yeah.
the changes happening there,
Mhm.
the population shifts
Right.
and how people are worried about the culture changing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It seems like a lot of this comes down to people noticing more and more people settling in Nagaland.
Uh-huh.
So what we want to do is kind of break down the main points from what you sent us
Great.
and see if we can figure out what's really going on.
Definitely.
What are the facts and what are people concerned about?
Exactly. And, to really get a grasp on what's happening now,
Yeah.
I think it's crucial to look back a bit.
Okay.
Nagaland has a long history of protecting its tribal status
Right.
and its cultural identity.
Yeah.
Things like the interline permit system.
Yeah.
That wasn't something that just popped up. It was a very deliberate step to safeguard their culture.
I see.
So understanding that history,
But
it really helps us make sense of the discussions happening today.
it kind of sets the stage for what a lot of you are saying
Mm-hmm.
about how the demographics are changing.
Right.
There's a feeling that more people are coming in from outside Nagaland,
Yeah.
even some from other countries,
Yeah, you see that in a lot of the reports.
and choosing to settle there.
Uh-huh.
And that's obviously a big deal.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the reasons for this that people are talking about?
Well, there are a few things driving this.
Okay.
Economic opportunities are definitely a big one.
Yeah, makes sense.
The chance to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And, people just wanting a better life.
Sure.
Those are all factors.
Uh-huh.
But then on the other side,
Yeah.
there are also concerns about people entering without the right papers,
Oh, I see.
especially from places like Bangladesh and Myanmar.
Okay.
And that naturally raises questions about how all this is being tracked and the
Yeah.
challenges for those who are supposed to enforce the rules.
So given these changes,
Right.
what are some of the fears that people have expressed?
Well, the main worry seems to be about losing what makes Nagaland's culture unique.
Okay.
Indigenous communities are afraid of being pushed aside
Yeah.
economically,
Right.
socially, and even in terms of their spiritual practices.
Right.
It's a deep fear about the future of their society.
But what I found interesting
Yeah.
is that this issue isn't just about ethnicity.
That's a really important point.
Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So while more people from outside coming in is what people see,
Uh-huh.
a lot of the focus is on how the government is handling things.
Okay.
Things like controlling the borders,
Right.
having accurate censuses,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure the rules are actually being followed.
I see.
These are seen as crucial, and it goes beyond any conflict between different groups.
It's interesting because on the one hand,
Yeah,
Nagaland wants to develop and progress,
of course.
but it also wants to hold on to its unique heritage.
Right.
That must be a tough balance.
It is. And,
Yeah.
there are worries about what might happen
Right.
if that balance isn't maintained.
What do you mean?
Well, there's concern that if people feel like their identity is threatened
Yeah.
and they don't see the government doing enough,
Uh-huh.
it could lead to unrest.
Okay.
It's a very delicate situation.
So essentially what we're seeing is this really complex mix
Yeah,
of development and cultural preservation,
exactly.
all happening against the backdrop of increased migration.
Right. And the sources we've looked at,
Yeah,
they suggest that to deal with this, you need reliable information,
absolutely.
fairness for everyone involved,
Hmm.
and a deep respect for the region's unique cultural heritage.
Which brings up a really interesting question.
Given Nagaland's history and this whole complicated migration situation,
Yeah.
what principles do you think should be at the heart of any discussion
Okay.
about identity and demographic change,
Interesting.
especially in societies facing similar challenges?
Yeah,
It's a tough issue,
for sure.
and there are no easy answers.
No.
But I think it's really important to hear your thoughts on this.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
It was my pleasure.